Hola amigos de CUME en Colombia, me encuentro con el doctor Richard Bandler, co-creador de la programación neurolingüística, y vamos a tener una muy pequeña, corta charla con él. Dr. Bandler, thanks for being with us. It's a pleasure to me to be here.
My pleasure.
I would like to start talking about what happened with a person who can find or who can achieve their goals. What happened in their mind? I mean, we say in NLP that we have all the resources in our mind to do whatever we need to do. What's your advice to those people who can find that resources in order to get goals?
Well, to start with, you don't have all the resources in your mind. If you're going to become a neurosurgeon, you need a little training.
Okay.
Okay, but you have a mind that's capable of learning resources.
Okay.
Now, there's a difference between people that have resources in their mind and don't use them. They can't fire the motivation at the right time. That, thinking is not, you're not God-given anything but the ability to think. But if you don't do it on purpose, it just doesn't work. And so if you don't organize your thoughts in the right way, you won't have the motivation. And if you don't have a clear idea of what your goals are, and a lot of people start after a goal, and when it doesn't, the way they're doing it doesn't work, they stop. Failure is a definition of time. And the speed of that time is controlled by the state of consciousness that you're in. And learning to feel that you can do things. And when you get stuck, finding out what you need to know to get there anyway. And you don't know how many people are reinventing the wheel out there. A lot of people make the same mistakes, and that's because they don't ask people who already know. First time I started a business, I didn't get experts on business. I may have known my stuff, but I made the same mistake. I had my accountant, my lawyer on my board of directors. That was stupid. I was already paying them. I don't need them on my board of directors. They already work for me. I needed people who had run businesses successfully and retired and knew what the pitfalls were and the government problems and all that stuff. And I thought, why would these people want to help me? Well, that's because they love doing this. And when I found out you could talk to people who are experts, my whole career is going and talking to people that were experts. I mean, you'd think I'd have known better. And the truth is, when you get stuck, it's because you're not thinking something or you don't know something. So one is to change the way you think. It will change the way you feel, and therefore it will change what you can do. And the easiest thing to change in the way in which you think.
Okay. Some people still refuse that you can achieve results in an easy way.
Well, then I feel sorry for them because I do it every day.
Right.
And and people who look at what is and say it's not there are just stupid. I'm sorry. I've been making videos and getting over people over phobias and teaching kids that couldn't spell to spell, and kids that couldn't do math to do math, and schizophrenics to be more normal. I've been making films of this for years. And people look at the film and they go, well, I don't really believe that's possible. It's not fiction. These are not actors in these things. These are real people. And if you try the same things yourself, they'll work the same. I didn't go and study or make up a theory. I don't have a theory to defend. I went and found out how people did this naturally, right? I found out how people got over fears by themselves, how they got over grief by themselves, what happens neurologically and gave other people the ability to do it. And I'm sorry, I keep finding easier, faster ways. And the people who work by the hour don't like it because they don't get to charge as much. Okay. Me, I charge by the change, so nobody has an objection to the fact that it doesn't take long. Because, when my clients come in, I always ask them, how much have you spent on this so far? And the numbers and the years and the amount of time is astronomical. One phobia, 8 years, 4 doctors, in the tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, not to mention the amount of lost work time they spend sitting around having somebody go, well, how do you feel about that? And I go in and tell them how you mentally make it, because you're only born with 2 fears, right? And people get over them all the time, so it's not like impossible. The fact, and people get fears sometimes in 10 seconds. They fall in a river when they're a kid and almost drown, and then they end up being afraid of water. So if they can become afraid in 10 seconds, Why in the hell should it take 5 years to get over it? And the truth is, neurologically, it doesn't. You just have to understand how the neurology works and be able to explain it to somebody so they can try thinking differently. And the fact that people say, well, it's probably not going to work. Right. You know, if you don't try stuff, it really doesn't work.
Okay.
I found that out.
Okay. And what's the more significant changes that a person can achieve using NLP according to your experience?
What do you mean? What's the most? That would depend upon the person, I would think.
Well, significant personal changes that a person wants to achieve in any ways and any ways or any topics in your life using NLP according to your experience.
What's the most important one they can change?
Yeah, the most important changes that they have.
They can decrease the amount of stupidity.
Okay, that's one really important.
Yeah, make sure they put that in the subtitles. Decrease the amount of stupidity. We all do stupid stuff. The less stupid stuff you do, the better life goes. Okay. You know, I had a couple come in one time, and she says to me, she goes, "There's no way that we're going to stop arguing." Now, if I believed that, talking to them would be a waste of time, right? So that falls in the category of stupid, right? And I looked at him and I said, everything she says while we're here for the next half hour, I want you to agree with. And he goes, what if I don't? I said, verbally agree with her. It's possible, she's right. So just agree with her. And you'll find it very hard to argue. And I looked at her and I said, in everything he says, just say you're right. And say to yourself, I could be kissing this person or arguing with them. I could be having sex or arguing with them. We could be walking in the park, we could be dancing or arguing with them. Which thing is smarter to do, right? I met people who argued over toast. Is that not the weirdest thing? A couple sat in my office and argued, and she was upset because he cooked his toast really hard and scraped off the stuff and then buttered his toast. And I'm thinking, out of all the things in the universe to spend time feeling bad about, toast? Are you kidding? You know, and he said, well, she nitpicks everything I do in life. And I said, so far all she's mentioned is toast. I said, if I were you, I just wouldn't eat toast. I would go, if I don't make this toast, can we have sex? Right? I'll trade you the toast for a blowjob or something. I don't know, anything. To me, if you decrease the stupid things you do, I mean, every time I tell people, put your hands together, push with your right hand, they go, and it's really just this. And, you know, if you put up a struggle in life where there isn't one, you're wasting time. If you think about a bad memory 40 times a day for 30 seconds, you end up totaling out something amazing when you add it up, because it comes out to an hour a day or a half hour a day. Well, Christ, an hour a day is 360 some hours in it. 360, even if you take 2 weeks off for vacation, right? 360 in a year, 3,610 years. You do it for 40 years, it's 12,000 hours. That's a lot of time to be putting bad pictures in your head and feeling bad. When I look at them and I go, well, if you put a bad picture on your wall, if I went in and painted some hideous thing on your wall, would you leave it there? And they always look at me and immediately go, no. And I go, but you leave this crap in your head. Well, they don't neurologically know how to stop it. I do. I can tell them 30 seconds, they go, and they can't think about it anymore. Because they don't know how forgetting is done. They don't know how remembering is done. Once you know how it's done neurologically, you can lead your conscious mind so that you can become smarter. And all that time you don't waste, you get to do good stuff with. You can learn to be an artist. You can go to the movies. You can go to the beach and lay in the sun. If you live in Colombia, you can go to Cartagena.
That's good. And finally, Dr. Bandler, in my country, people and company, they see the need to get trainers or get coaches. Of course, besides to be certified with NLP with you, what skills do you think that they need to improve in order to get in this industry in a professional way?
You mean to become a coach?
Yes, to train people.
Well, if you're going to be a consultant, and if you're going to be a coach or a management advisor, you need to know how to do it, right? I mean, there were lots of therapists on the planet. Not one of them could achieve a single thing with anyone. 160 schools of psychotherapy, screaming they all had the right approach, and not a technological thing that would get one fear to disappear, depression to go away, other than drugs. And I mean, to me, I look at most of these coaching things. The question is, do they have a technology that allows people to make better decisions? We do. I don't care what you call what you do. If you don't know how decisions work and how to tell the difference between good ones and bad ones, then you're going to make a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. Or maybe all bad ones. Who knows? And all coaches, no matter what they say their kind of coaching is, come to get NLP skills because we know how to turn things up and turn things down and make things better and replace decision-making processes and increase motivation and get people to stop wasting time. One thing that management consultants have been saying for a century is time is money. Well, the currency of living is time. The currency of success in business is time. And the longer it takes an employee to do something, the more it costs you. It's not rocket science. The technology of how to make it so time is used efficiently, thought time, so that you're not sitting around thinking about some crappy thing in your life, rather than picking up the phone and bring a new business through the door. You have to teach your employees how to think, and how to think well, how to think efficiently, and you have to make it fun enough that they want to do it. And those are the skills that NLP offers you, in a nutshell.
Okay. Thanks.
That being the operative word.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for this interview.
You bet.
My pleasure.
And you people out there listening to this, right, in Colombia, this is one of the people I recommend. Not the only one, but one. There are several. Colombia is a lucky country. It's one of the ones we go to do teaching. You've got a couple of good trainers down there. Make sure you check and find out that people have current certificates signed by me.
Yes.
Because otherwise, we don't know who they are and we don't trust them.
Agree. Thanks, Dr.
You bet.